Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. Presented by Carolina Lake.
Everybody there?
Good with us. When the action begins in the studio, our referees for tonight's event are Elgato Azul and Carolina Reel streamers. For the viewers in attendance and Facebook and YouTube users around the world, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Live from the Elgato Azul TV studio in Louisville, Texas, it's time! What's up, slime lovers? Welcome to the Slime Show. I'm your host, Chris, a.k.a. Elgato Azul. My partner in slime over here, Mr. Jamie Dunn. Carolina Lake Weights. My buddy down here. Oh, he's out of here. Tonight we got Shawn Brown on Xtreme Reels Reel Repair. He's a teammate of ours over at Mad Cats. He's pro staff over at Penn Reels. And he's out of here. That was a short show.
You know us, brother.
Well, looks like Shawn's having some technical difficulties, but he'll be back in here soon. Man, it was a big weekend.
Hey, it was, man. I tell you, we had a blast at CatCon, brother. Wow, is all I could say. And I want to say thank you to everyone that come out and supported us at CatCon.
Yep, that was a big show. Shawn's back. Shawn, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Doing good, brother.
Doing good. We're having some technical difficulties,
Awesome.
but that's
you have fun at Catfish Conference?
Procedure for this show.
Yeah,
Catfish
we had a
conference was a blast. It was a big show for Carolina Lake Weights. Uh-oh. Gonna be one of these nights.
I hope not, brother.
Y'all
you there?
Got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Man.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Yeah, CatCon was a blast. Got to meet lots of. Is that me?
No. I see you good, brother. We lost.
All right. Sorry, guys. We're having some technical difficulties. Yeah, CatCon was a blast.
Yes, it was, man. We had
Shawn back. I got a few pictures. I didn't download many, but man, what is going on here?
I don't know, Chris. There we go.
There's the Carolina Lake Weights booth. That was a good time right there, man. Appreciate y'all having us.
Oh man, wouldn't have it no other way, brother.
Great time, man. Great time. My boy got to hang out with his buddy all weekend, Flathead Luke, another one of our Carolina Lake Weights kid on the pro staff. That was probably my funnest part of the weekend, watching those two boys chum it up.
Yeah, I tell you, man, they really had a lot of fun, man. I watched them boys, and you know, them boys were shaking just as many hands as we were. So I know they look like celebrities over there having their pictures taken with everybody.
Every time I saw them, they were signing an autograph.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
That's funny.
I tell you, it looks like we got a real good crowd in here with us tonight.
Shawn, what's up, buddy? Got you back, man.
Can you hear me?
Barely got you, buddy.
All right.
I don't know if it's on your end or what we got going on is on my end.
I've got full bars, but I don't know. It is kind of windy outside.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of losing out, huh?
Yeah, it looks like on my end, it looks like everybody's got kind of a bad connection, but we're just talking a little bit about CatCon and how much fun we had. So, what was your favorite part?
I missed it.
Jamie?
Honestly, I'm gonna tell you my favorite part, man, and I'm gonna be very truthful, is seeing all my brothers and all of our friends again. You know, just having everybody there. It's like a big family reunion.
That me?
Yeah, I believe so. That's how.
Why don't I back out? See if that helps. I'll be back. Just give me a second, guys. Sorry.
You're good, brother. But yeah, just having everybody coming by the booth, shaking our hands, you know, and introducing the new friends of ours.
Man, this is rough, guys.
Shawn, can you see me, buddy? Guys, y'all hang in there with us. I know we got some heavy wind and stuff in our area. I think everybody's having a little trouble tonight.
Now we lost the boss.
Yeah, he went out. He's going to step back in here in just a second. But guys, if you're in chat, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you see us real good, if you would.
I got y'all now. Sounds good.
Oh, heck yeah.
I think
Ray's coming back.
It might have been me, guys. Sorry. Catfishing Ed.
That's all right. We're all having an issue, huh?
Russell Rhodes, welcome in. Russell's one of our Carolina Lake Weights teammates. We got Mr. Billy Bever. What's up, Billy? Welcome in, man. Hope your eye's doing better. He's one of our Carolina Lake Weights.
What's happening, Billy?
Chuck Watkins, Mr. Bite Lights. Welcome in, Chuck.
What's up, buddy?
Wish you could have made CatCon, buddy. We got Kevin Walters. What's up, Kevin? It was good to finally get to see you face-to-face at CatCon, man. Yeah. I'd like to get you on the show soon, so hopefully we can – I'll hit you up after the show, and we'll get that ironed out. Rebecca and Jamie, I think I know who they are. What's up, Chaos? Derek, what's up? That's our Operation Vets with Nets partner. It's good seeing you at CatCon. Pleasure to shake your hand. Honor being on that team.
Yeah.
Cookies Outdoors. That's Alexander Doty. He was on the show. Whisker Dreams.
What's up, Alex?
Up, buddy? How you doing, man? Paul Story. Welcome in, Paul. We got the King of Tennessee, Micah Burkhart. Appreciate the bait towel, Micah, and the koozies, buddy.
Heck yeah, brother.
I know what to do with these. Trash them out. So we got Facebook user. Can't see who you are, but appreciate you stopping in. We got Kevin's Silent Fishing. Welcome in, Kevin. We got Eagle Eyes Tienda, one of our Operation Vets with Nets captains for the state of Texas. Welcome in, buddy. We got my buddy Dimitri Lockett. What's up, Dimitri? Welcome in, man. Wish we could have got a chance to fish together when you were in town, but that's the way it goes. Ripping Lips Fishing. Corey Whaley. What's up, buddy? Welcome in. Moving on down, we got Matt Mosley. Matt, welcome.
What's up, buddy?
That's Team M&M Fishing. We're going to get him on the Carolina Lake Weights team soon. Moving on down. Jeff Martin, my hometown boy, and Epic Catfishing, one of my favorite anglers. Welcome in, Tim.
What's up, brother?
Appreciate everybody stopping in. Tonight, we're going to be talking fishing reels. Hopefully, it's not just me and Jamie talking fishing reels. Although Jamie used to work on reels, so he'd be a good guy to talk to about it. But
Yeah.
our guest tonight is Shawn Brown. He went into hiding. He's having problems. He's up in Oklahoma. That's probably why. He's back. Here we go. So I met Shawn through a guide buddy of mine. And Shawn had gone on a guide trip and caught a 94-pounder up at Texoma. And I just became friends with Shawn. And then we got on the Mad Cats team together. He's super friendly to me. And we've been friends ever since. So welcome to the show, Shawn. Why don't you tell the guys a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Shawn. Fish up in northern Oklahoma, actually all of Oklahoma. I make it down to Texoma land once in a while, do some fishing down there, fish some tournaments around Oklahoma, do a lot of fun fishing, do some guide trips, work on reels. That's really what I do, is catfish reels, guys. That's really what my biz is. But that's just a little bit about me. Met Chris, like I said, through Mad Cats, like a bunch of our teammates, just a bunch of really good guys, get along. And here I am. He invited me on the show to talk about fishing reels.
I've had a lot of guys asking me about fishing reels, and I said, well, I know some guys, Jamie for one, but I know Shawn is real well known. He's an expert in reels, so I thought it'd be good to get him on. He's been a good friend to me. So, Shawn,
heck, I'm doing one of your reels right now.
Yeah. All right, so we'll start with my reel. I run the Shimano Dakotas. It's no secret I love those
Chris,
reels.
all I'm getting is a bunch of R2D2 music going on.
Uh-oh. I think that's on your end, Shawn. Jamie, are you hearing me clearly?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Well, crap.
Hey, you know it wouldn't be one of our shows unless we had something exciting going on, man.
Yeah. So Shawn's looks like well, let's see if we can get him back. Shawn's an expert on reels. He's pro staff over at Penn, but he'll give us an honest opinion on all these reels. If you guys got any questions about a specific reel, put them in chat. Shawn will get them answered. Tonight we're going to talk about my reel, the Shimano Dakota. He runs pins. We're going to get into the pins. We're going to talk about the new Mad Cats reel, and then probably get into some of the budget reels that Shawn has to work on the least. So if there's a certain
as long as
reel
I can stay connected
to the shop a lot, that's probably not the reel you'll want. So Creole, welcome in, buddy.
Yes, welcome in, brother.
And Shawn's out of here.
Chris, I was about to say, as soon as he gets in, we might want to go ahead and jump right into it, man.
All right, so my reel's the Shimano Dakota 600. I've been running them for 8 years. I'm on year 8, and one of mine finally went down. I switched from Abu Garcia 6500s. I ran those for 25 years.
Yeah.
I got into planer boarding 8 years ago and just started wearing these 6500s out. I'd break 10 of them in a year. Decided I would ask some of my guide buddies that put a lot of wear and tear on catfish reels. They told me to try the Shimano Dakota trolling reel. Switched to the Shimano Dakota. It solved all my issues. So Shawn's back. Shawn, we're talking about the Shimano Dakota 600. That's the first reel. You're working on mine. What's broken on mine?
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about the reel.
Shimano Dakota is a great reel. It's a little bit higher speed reel. It's a 6:3 gear ratio. So if you're trying to catch up with fish, that's a great reel to have. They're super strong, got big gears in them, so they got a lot of cranking power to them. You said earlier that you've been fishing yours for 8 years, I believe.
Yeah.
And this is the first one you've had go down. You fish pretty hardcore. So
and I
to
never
fish 8
I've
years and
never
have the
even
first one
cleaned
go
one,
down.
Shawn. Not even cleaned one.
What's that?
I've
Yeah,
never
I haven't even cleaned one. I could tell by this one. But other than that, I mean, you got level wind issue going on. That's all you've got going on. Bearings are a little bit dry in it, but other than that, I mean, just it could have used the service probably after year 4.
Yeah.
But really, the way you should do it, you should be servicing your reels by. I do mine every season. You know, I do mine every season. I also do it like every 20 trips. Sometimes I'll look at it like that. I've got so many reels, rods. I think I'm working with about 40 different rods and reels in my lineup. So for me to remember that's real hard. So I just go, you know what? This season, at the end of the season, I need to do this. So I take them all, unspool them, do them all at the end of one season, start over again. So usually about twice a year I get it. I do fish a lot too. So about twice a year mine get serviced.
Shawn,
I don't roll like a mechanic.
I've always been asked the question about when you receive your new reels, the grease that comes on the inside, is it too heavy? It's a question I used to
way
get
too
asked
heavy.
all the time.
Yeah, it's too heavy. I use a couple of different greases. I use pen grease. It just depends on the application. Also, Cal's Purple. If you're in a cooler climate, Cal's Purple super smooth and it stays in place. It's a real good lube and it's not too heavy. A lot of reels say like Penn. All right, I'm sponsored by Penn. Every time I get a reel, I got to clean that sucker out. They pack them full of grease. If you've ever been inside of a Penn, they pack them full of grease. But you know, they're a saltwater reel. Penn manufactures their reel for saltwater. They don't care about us cat fishermen. I mean, they do, but they really don't. They care about the guys out there in the sea. You know what I mean? And we're really not. So we can benefit from pulling them reel apart, degrease them, soaking the bearings, going back in with oil in the bearings makes a big difference. Every reel's that way. Abu Garcia, all the way down to $50 Pissy Fun reel. Every one of them can benefit from a lube flush, is what I call them.
You know, we're here in South
these
Carolina.
reels, like you run, which pins do you run?
The Squalls and the Fathoms.
Okay,
I mainly have Fathoms.
So you got a $140 reel and a $200 reel, 220.
Yeah, you have a $140 reel and you have a $240 reel.
What makes one 140 compared to 220?
So you look at the Penn Squall and they're manufactured. You kind of use it like a vehicle platform. They're manufactured off of the same platform. So a lot of them they'll share the same parts, but the parts in the Fathom are a little bit better quality. And you can vice versa. You can put Fathom parts in them, but really you're looking at aluminum frame versus a frame with braces, which it's still a good reel. Still does what we need it to do, just not as good as quality, not as near as sturdy. So you're catching a lot of big fish. You're gonna want something that's got aluminum housing on it, aluminum frame. The level wind parts are a little bit better quality. The gears
Lost them.
Damn Okies. So somebody asked earlier what reel are you? I run the Shimano Dakota 600 HGA high gear ratio reel, and I love them.
Yeah, Chris, I was asking Shawn about the grease because I used to get asked all the time when I worked on what did I think about when you received the reels. You know, it comes with such a heavy grease on the inside of them. Yeah. Myself, I always suggested just taking it apart, cleaning all that out. And he was talking about the different greases to use, which would make it a lot lighter on the inside. And you could tell a lot of difference. And it really made a big difference in the way they performed. Because I guess, you know, a lot of these companies, when they're sitting on the shelves and everything, that grease is so heavy, it actually kind of just really almost hardens up a little bit, it seems like.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's why we do that. And plus now, Shawn will probably go into it. you got all these upgraded bearings and everything
Yeah.
now, the reels and stuff.
So, Sean, Chuck had a question. He said, have you ever used Rig Grade? I have been using that for years, gun and reel.
What's up, guys? I'm back.
What's up, Sean? So, Chuck had a question. He said, have you ever
Man,
used
I don't
Rig?
think it's my Wi-Fi. I just keep getting kicked out.
Huh.
My Wi-Fi is good. I got
My
4
connection
bars.
looks good. I don't
Just
know.
keep getting kicked out.
Chuck Watkins asked, have you ever used Rig Grade? I have been using this for years, gun and reel. Guess not. Facebook user says loves his pen, and I think pen is probably the most popular catfish reel for guys that fish hard.
You know, that's one of the main reels we used to work on a lot here, Chris. Being close to Myrtle Beach here by the ocean, I used to work on all kinds of them. And pins are actually pretty simple to work on. I mean, you don't have a lot of parts in those things that fail at all, man. You know, except for the worm gear here and there. And, you know, I used to do a lot of, when I cleaned what we call a shock clean, it was a machine that you put it in. It was basically water. It was shock and clean it and stuff.
Yeah.
And that really took a lot of that salt water off.
Yeah, I know the saltwater's a lot harder on them.
Yeah.
My reels are saltwater reels. Everything's sealed up a lot better so that crap doesn't get in there. And a lot of that crap that gets in there is what breaks these reels or messes them up. So
yeah.
Beth says he's in the process of switching to Piscifun Alios 400 8-1. I've heard a lot of good things about those vests. I know guys that use them. They like to use them for bumping. I know you anchor, so that'd probably work great for that as well. I pull long planer boards, and it doesn't have a whole lot of line capacity. Epic says Killer B. I don't see Killer B, but welcome in, Bill, if you're here. Sean keeps getting booted.
Yep. What's up, Kevin? Palmetto Cat's in the house.
I guess I'm behind. Let me get caught up. Bobby Parker. Well, welcome in, Bobby. How's it going, buddy? The Lose 60 XL. So one of the reels that Sean's going to go into is a Lose, and he says Lose are great reels, and a lot of the components inside of the new Mad Catch reel, he said, are very similar to Lose. So, Sean is back again. What's up, Sean? Can you hear me, buddy? Can you hear me now? Creole says he uses Pro 7 gun oil for his bearings with great success.
I hear you, Bubba.
Chris, everything seems like it's jumping around.
Y'all just keep going without me. I don't know what the heck's going on.
All right. I'm going to go grab my iPad, see if that fixes anything.
Sean, can you hear me, buddy? Chris, I got you, brother.
You got me.
I got you, man. I know,
man.
I know everything here and there keeps jumping around. I don't know if it's the platform tonight or what it is. I don't know what's going on, but I know the whole screen and all keeps jumping around here and there.
Epic says he's hard on his worm gears. Yeah, that seems to be the main thing that goes out on level winds. Level winds are just, there's a flaw in the design of the level wind. They all gonna break. Some of them are more durable than others.
Yeah, the 6500s, man. I used to replace them worm gears all the time. I mean, it was really tough on those when you're catfishing, you're catching big catfish, constantly replacing the worm gears, all that, because it's got some plastic parts on the inside. And, those things cannot take a beating.
Yeah, I think it helps to have a saltwater reel
Yeah.
because it seals a lot of that crap out of there.
Yeah.
And it's that stuff that gets in there for guys like me that I just fish.
Yeah.
I don't clean reels. My way I clean my reel is by applying a fresh coat of slime the next week. When it breaks, I send them to Shawn.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So I know he's going to go through some of these reels if he can ever get on here with a clear signal. And I know some of you guys are interested in some of these budget friendly reels. One of them being, I think, the Pissy Fun Chaos 60, maybe. He said it's a very durable reel for the price. It's an entry level reel, but it's durable for the price. We're not going to go into which ones are just total garbage because most budget-friendly reels are not very good. I mean, but there are some good ones that are worth the
I tell you, the PC funds, is really coming along very good, man. I've heard some good things about those. So they're really stepping up those games over there.
Jeremy says he's got a box full of extra pin worm gears and level wine pawls.
I can believe you, buddy.
Yeah, those tend to go out on, really on most reels. The only reel that I've had where I've not had any issue, up until it's been 8 years, but it's this Dakota. That's why I've talked so highly on them. I'm like a caveman with my equipment. If it's possible to break, I'm going to break it. It's not like I'm babying this stuff. I freaking put it to the test. And most reels don't last a year on my boat, but my Dakotas, man, they're crazy good. And I did the math on what I was saving because basically a reel repair now is $79. If I send it to Shawn, it's about $75 for him to fix it, ship it back to me. And I was going through, I had 24 Abus and I would go through, I would break on average 8 to 10 per year. Yeah. You start doing the math, you're like, damn, I'm spending a lot on reel repairs. And since I switched to the Dakotas, no more reel repairs.
And Chris, a lot of people now this day and time, they're really stepping up their games with bigger baits. We're going bigger on a lot of different things. And in the past, these reels really, wasn't 100% built for things like that unless you're out in the ocean using those big pins and stuff.
I think the catfishing game has gone to the saltwater end.
Yes.
15 years ago, we were all using freshwater gear, freshwater hooks. Everything is pretty much freshwater. But now almost everything is pretty similar to salt, if not specific for salt. And we've just ripped it off and used it for catfishing. So,
because, a lot, like I said, a lot of people, the bigger the baits, bigger rigs, heavier weights. You're doubling up on everything than what we were finding out about how we used to fish. So now everybody's going to like Epic, with Tim with them huge baits, like big baits. You've got to have the right equipment for that. And now
it wasn't really an issue when I anchor fish or when I would just drift.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started pulling big planer boards, long lining them with giant baits, I started just smoking these reels. Just destroying them. And then I started breaking the reel foot off of the frame where the tack welds are. And that's not a fixable deal. So,
And now you got all these companies, or not a lot of the companies, but you got these special gears now that you can get for some of these reels, being able to cast a lot further, sit there and you spin that thing and you got these new bearings and all that, man. It's really changing. There
All
we go.
right.
What's up?
So,
The guy
Shawn,
is back.
they said that they're having difficulty hearing you. It's something on your end. So I'm gonna
Well,
blame
I
it on
reset
you.
I reset all my stuff. So where are we at now? We got okay?
It looks like you're doing better now.
Yep.
So
Brand new, brother.
That's a brand new world. Let's
Brand new
go.
world.
What are you waiting on?
Let's do it. Let's go.
where were we? Where were we?
We were talking about the
Saltwater
Dakota.
reels. We're talking about how everything's gone kind of saltwater oriented for these catfish in the last,
Sure.
I don't know, 10
That's
years.
That's exactly what I was talking about with the pens. You know, the pens, it's a saltwater reel. That's what we're using. They pack them full of grease and let them rip. But yeah, I mean, that's really what we've gone to is a big level wine. I wouldn't say 100% salt water, but that's really what they were originally designed for is surf casting, smaller baits, smaller fish out of the surf or even out of some boats. That's why a lot of these say the pens, they got huge drags, like 30 pounds of drag on them is for that same reason. So yeah, we've gone away from it seemed like the smaller round reels, and now we're cranking on these big, these big pens. I had Frank Smith sent me all his reels one time, and they showed up, and he's got like these 40 size big old monster reels, and I'm like, man, you catch big fish, but my gosh.
Epic says he casts big baits and heavy weights, and it's very hard on reels. That's pretty much smokes them. And current, pulling your current.
Pulling them in current, man, it'll especially these level wines. That's why I always say run with the big dogs and get rid of those level wines. But really,
I've seen
that's
a lot
what
more
kills
guys going to the no level wine in the last 3 or 4 years. Really,
if somebody wants to put the time in and they want to man up and really just have to take a step back to take a step forward, I'm telling you, it's a lot more reliable than a reel with a level wine. 99% of the problems I have with reels that come in aren't bearings. It's not the gears. It is always level wine problems. Level wine gears, the side case gear, the worm shaft.
I would say 90% of my reels that would break, it was that. Occasionally, I'd smoke a drag washer. Occasionally, the bearings would mess up, but I haven't had any of those issues in a long time. So,
yeah. I mean, just a service goes a long ways with all of that stuff.
Sealed, right, Shawn? Most of the saltwater bearings,
they're sealed, and a bearing's a bearing. You're going to either have a steel bearing, which is going to have a steel race in it with steel balls, or you're going to have a hybrid bearing that's going to have a steel race inside the bearing with ceramic balls. And so ceramic balls, they will never corrode. They're a little bit noisier. I tell you what, I put them into pens, ceramics in pens, and I've had great luck with them. Especially with the fathom and the squalls, because they do spin faster, but they don't get out of control. So they actually slow down the initial startup of the reel. But when they start spinning, they actually spin faster. That's why you can get a more controlled cast with a ceramic bearing than what you can with a stainless bearing. But so in all honesty,
when you soup up one, you're putting ceramic bearings in them. Correct.
Yes, I'm putting a hybrid ceramic bearing in them. Yes.
So let's say, for instance,
you know what? When you tune, it's not just bearing upgrades. There's a lot of other stuff. We're polishing parts, friction points. We do, a lot of it's the lubes that we use. That's why it really needs. What the customer is going to require and what the customer is really dependent upon. The oils that we use, the greases that we use, and what we're doing to the reel, and that's really what it comes down to is what the customer's needs are.
Yeah, that's it.
So my Dakotas, they come with those are Japanese bearings.
To be honest with you, I think the only Japanese bearings that are really out there anymore that are mainstream are the NMBs. the bearings that come on your Dakota, they do not have a shield that has a clip in it that allows me to remove the shield. The way you can tell a Japanese bearing between a Chinese bearing is they'll have a ribbon style cage inside them. The cage will be different in a Chinese or in a Japanese bearing versus a Chinese bearing. But Shimano's a Japanese company.
I know that some of these parts it might be a Chinese part, but they use Japanese steel for some of this.
They'll use Japanese steel. They'll actually even manufacture them in Japan, and then they'll come over and you take even some of these super smooth, lesser expensive reels, budget reels that we were going to get into. They'll have the brass will be from Japan, and they'll be actually cut in Japan, and that'll be the big difference on why they're so smooth.
Difference in a Chinese bearing that's made from Chinese steel and one that's made from anywhere else. I tell guys, I'll take one
anywhere
else besides.
Right.
When you look at Chinese steel underneath a micron microscope, it's got tons of irregularities, debris,
tons of irregularities, very porous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. And I know, like, in my line of work, we run a lot of equipment, and they've switched everything to Chinese bearings. It used to all be Japanese bearings, and they would never wear out. Now they've gone to Chinese bearings, and the bearings wear out every year almost. So I know that the life of those Chinese bearings are inferior.
Not only that, Chris, you got these fine little divots and stuff like that. All the way they build these things.
So you have those small divots in there. Those small divots where the balls, when the balls get worn, it turns into like a dirt. And then it also gets inside those pores. And most people would say, well, inside those pores, it's going to cover that up. But it doesn't. All it does is just continue to grind it away until your bearings are just absolutely junk.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fishing reel, guys. I can take a stainless steel bearing out of China and a stainless steel bearing out of Japan, and I can make them roll the same. As long as they're in new quality shape, I can make them roll the same. I can make them roll the same as a ceramic bearing. The difference is they're not going to roll the same for as long. So a Japan bearing, if you say your Dakotas, I clean your bearings and I use a real thin coat of oil on them, they're going to spin freer for longer than what a China bearing will. Then you take in the equation of different qualities of ceramic bearings. So you got a ceramic bearing that just has a regular stainless steel cage in it, then you got a ceramic bearing that has a ribbon cage in it. A ribbon cage is going to be more free than a normal cage is going to be. So there's just, you look at bearings and it gets almost stupid at the science behind it, how much there is, and not to mention just the cost difference. You can go from a $20 bearing all the way up to $100 bearing. It just depends on what somebody's budget is. I try to be able to cover every aspect of that for my customer. But at some point I go, man, you know what? I've been doing this a while, and you look at spool high speed and you look at Boca bearings, and you really can't beat either one of those. I mean, spool high speed's got 5 different levels of bearings you can get, and Boca's got several different ways to go as well. You got orange seals, you got yellow seals, you've got just stainless steel bearings. You've got, I mean, it'll make your head hurt if you think it'll make your head hurt if you think too much about it.
That's what. And Shawn, I think a lot of people forget also the extreme heat during the summertime. I used to run a certain type of grease. Now in the wintertime, I used to go back into mine and change that grease up so that way it stays free for extreme weathers in the wintertime also. Can you like that?
Man, it's 111 in the summer and 5 in the winter. I don't clean.
You guys are making my head hurt. I could go on and on about the greases and all that. You know what? It does. It comes down to what time of year am I servicing these reels? What's the climate look like? I look at the box going, this came from Ohio. This is Frank Smith's reels. I know he's not fishing in the wintertime because it's cold. We're going to build these for summertime fishing, spring and summertime fishing. You know, if they came from, I've got customers that I've known for years that send me reels from Arizona. Arizona, we fish year round. I'm trying to pick a grease that's going to perform good year round, because even though it's 115 in the summertime, it's still, 60, 70 degrees in the wintertime. So, it's really just figuring out what your customer needs and trying to tailor for what they, most of the time, to be honest with you, they don't even know what they need. I'm usually doing the picking and choosing for them.
Yeah.
Send them to me. What's your budget? You know what I mean?
That's it.
What do you want to do? Hey, just service them and bring them back. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, that only way I'm going out of business is if Abu Garcia goes out of business.
That's it.
That's the only way I'm going
Abu's built like a race car, I mean, they're made to break. Yeah. They're easy to fix.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. Some
that way.
You hear people talk about, well, it's got plastic gears in it. And it may have a plastic level wind gear in it. God, I'd hope so, because if my finger gets caught in that level wind in the middle of a cast, something better break before my finger.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, that's 100% the reason that they do that. Is something's got to give. If you don't have a give point, I mean, it is. It's just like a race car.
When I was teaching my son to fish, Shawn, he would get his finger stuck in that level wind all the time, and it would. I know it hurt bad because he couldn't get it out, and I was like, damn, how do we get his little finger out of there? And I was just, and every time he do it, I'm like, man, I hope I didn't just ruin him on this fishing thing. But
I had an 8-year-old out with Daniel this weekend, and trying to get them to want to fish.
Yeah.
Jacob, he kept saying, well, let's go back to the hotel. When are we going back to the hotel? Then by that time, we caught some fish. We're back striper fishing. It's time to go back. Now he don't want to go back to the hotel. He doesn't want to go back. So, I mean, I think that's a success. I mean, you got Jackson out there. I mean, he's. I look at him and Flathead Luke and a couple of these kids they're some of the best little kid fishermen I've seen in a while. I mean, I've been fishing since I was about. I was 8 years old, I think, when I first got out on the boat with my dad. But I mean, we hit the banks and trout fish in Arizona and things like that. Never got serious. But my dad, he was pretty hardcore fisherman. I learned how to bass fish. I never even entertained serious catfishing. We go out and channel catfish once in a while, but I never seriously catfished till I even moved to Oklahoma. Didn't even cross my mind till I got here, and then I went out and I fell in love with it. So it's something that, their success, the kid's success is vital. That's why, we want to go down. I could catch as much fish as I want here. I was hoping to get down there and get them on some fish. I had a trip planned down there anyways. And we did. He's from Arizona, and that boy, he'd probably catch a fish those kids would never catch. There's no blue cats in Arizona. Yeah. So now he's caught blue cat and striper.
That's one of the cool things about taking kids blue catting, because you get their PB. It's almost every. I mean, almost every time. You can get them.
Sure.
And all my friends that bring their kids that don't really get to do it a lot, it's PB day. Yeah, and those
it's always
awesome. Those trips are
awesome. Chris, after that trip, I reflected on that a little bit, and I thought, man, you know what? I don't have kids, okay. And I look at you going out and doing it, and a bunch of these other guys are out there, got their kids with them nonstop. I could care if I was in that position. I'll be honest, I could care less if I reeled in another fish here on out for the rest of my life if I had that opportunity. You know what I mean? I'd let them reel in every fish they possibly could. If it's a 100-pounder, God, I hope so. Bring it in.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of work getting them there. I think that's kind of what keeps some dads from doing it. It's a beating. There's a lot of trips where it's not fun.
Not good.
It's not good. There's a lot of lessons to be learned, but over time, now here we are. My son's 8, and he won't miss a trip. He won't miss
that. That was Jacob. Jacob's 8 too.
And he doesn't want to catch every fish, but he wants to catch the big ones.
Sure.
And I love it, man. So Roger had a good question.
I definitely envy you in being able to do that. I watch you guys out there. I follow you close every week. I'm watching what you guys are doing, where you're fishing at. War Machine's going somewhere. You know what I mean? And I'm always watching you guys, and I love watching him fish. And he's got 2 fish in his lap at the same time because he's just out there slaying them and having a good time with you. That's the biggest thing. Be careful, because this is where it came in for me. When I lost my dad in 2005, I didn't want to fish anymore, because that's just the bond that we built. Is that right there? I didn't want to fish anymore, and I really didn't.
And it
until I started
you a lot of him when you go out there. But now, a little bit of time has passed, and that's a good thing. Now it reminds you, when you're out there, a lot of the times that you had with him. Now that he's not here, he's still up there looking down, and he would want you to fish. I mean,
yeah, I realize that. You know, we did a lot of things together. We went drag racing together for 28 years, and we fished, we hunted. I mean, it was all outdoors, man. I mean, it was camping, fishing, hunting, racing. That was what we did. And after that, I didn't want to do any of it until I got a little older, and I started realizing, hey, you know what? This is what he wants me to do. That's why he showed me all this cool stuff, because this is what he wants me. This is what he wanted me to do. When he's not here, he got me ready for this.
I'm hoping my son will take me at some point. Will take other people. And provide them with that, you know, excitement and joy and the memories. Man, the memories are what it's really all for me. The memories is what it's all about. And
Shawn, I'm been right there where you are, my friend. I was the same way when my father passed. I was right there with you. I quit for a while, and then I said, you know, he wouldn't want me to do that. And now, you know, I enjoy going back to all the places we used to fish.
It took me coming down here, and I met a woman down here, and her son and her dad were going catfishing. They're like, hey, you want to go catfishing? I'm like, shit, why not? Let's go. About after that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm back fishing. You know what I mean? And that was it. Since then, I've been going. And to be honest with you, catfishing, man, I was bass fishing for a long time. Yeah. And I'm not a YouTuber. I don't watch YouTube channels and things like that. So I go, you know, how am I going to learn how to do this? I want to learn how to do this better than the next guy. And like y'all said, it's just a lot of work. There's a lot of really bad days. You know, and I always feel this way in life in general, is you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. So when it was like, hey, I need to start learning some stuff, I need to meet some people that are doing this and can show me some stuff. And I met some guys out here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Lance Lucky or not, but that guy, probably one of the smartest fishermen I've ever met in my life. He showed me a lot. I still hit him up and talk and ask questions. Y'all know my boy Daniel Armstrong.
Oh yeah, Daniel's a good friend of mine. Awesome.
I would not be. He is, and even when I run a guide trip or anything like that, I try to mentor after him, because it's so natural to him. The way he fishes and the way he does things, it's like, man, he was born to do this. So I often, when I do things, when I pull planter boards, all right, when I pull planter boards, I do it like Daniel showed me how to do it. You know, I don't want to do it any other way. I pull planter boards with some people and be like, what the heck are you doing? No, man, we're not doing it like this. This is not how I do it. I mean, I hate to say, I know we're on your boat or whatever, but this isn't the way I'm doing it. You do it your way, I'm doing it my way, and watch my fish versus your fish. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just the way I've done it, and I know that it works, you know. So I've always lived my life like that. You know, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and luckily for me, I've surrounded myself with good people. I even got a fishing partner out here. He owns a bait shop and a hot rod shop, and he's just a really good guy just in general in life. You know what I mean? And he's really he's kind of new to this deal. He's took over the tournament series out here this past year, and he's kind of new to fishing a little bit. So me being able to maybe show him a few things, and he can show me a few things. You know, that's what I think I like about fishing with other people. Every time you fish with somebody else, you learn something different. You might go, man, that ain't going to work. And then it does. Or you go, hey, I'm going to show you a better way. And they're receptive to it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we can all learn from each other. Like I said, I don't watch YouTube videos. I Catfish Dave, this guy, that. I don't do that. I'd rather just be out fishing, man. The only way I'm going to get better is be on the water. And I don't care if I'm on the bank or in a boat. I mean, this time of year, to be honest with you, I love to go out and bank fish in shallow water. That's what I love to do. You know, 30, 40, 50-pound fish, pulling it up on the bank. That's what I like to do. That's my style, you know.
That's it.
I still like to get in a boat, pull planter boards. I don't. If I can anchor fish in 3-4 feet of water, but man, you're gonna have to be a boat, man. I want to be out pulling planter boards. That's just me.
I
That's what I
enjoy
like to
pulling
do.
planter boards. There's just something cool about hooking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 good fish at once that you can't do.
Nothing better than a shit show, isn't it?
Yeah. That's, we call it chaos catfishing. My buddies they're like, oh shit, here we go.
Chaos catfishing. Yep.
You look down the floor, you're tripping over fish. You're like, oh man, it's just
You just slaughtered them, and then you go, stop, turn around, let's go back, let's drag through there again. That is the best feeling.
Shawn, maybe Muskrat had asked, what's a good reel around the $100 price point? I seen
$100. So that is a budget reel. So anything $100 and under is what I consider a budget reel. Okay. The Lew's LCLX 60 is a good reel. It's got a twin paddle handle on it. It's a good reel. It's a slower speed. It's a 4:2-to-1 gear ratio, so it's going to be a stump puller. But if you're fishing where there's a lot of snags and you need to get your bait up off the bottom, it's probably not a reel for you. The Pissy Fun Chaos 50 and 60 series, both great reels. Micah Burkhart caught his first state record in Tennessee on Chaos 50. The 60 is just as good of a reel, just a little bit more capacity. Both good reels, and you can have those for like $60. If you have some codes, you can get them down into $40. In the $47 to $52 range if you have some codes. So the Pissy Fun, the Lew's LCLX 60 is a great reel. It's about the same size as these Mad Cat reels. So I mean, those would be the two that are real standouts for me. Are those low pros? There's really not really many low pros out there in that price range. So I would just stick with one of those. My biggest thing is if you're spending $100, if you're up in the $100 range, I want to find a reel that I can get parts for. You're still spending $100 in a year and a half, where you really start getting good at fishing and you're trying to get on some big fish. You start breaking a few parts and you want to try to fix it. Man, you should be able to buy a $1.50 level line gear and be able to throw it in there and get back fishing again. I think parts availability is for me on any reel. You take the Mad Cat's reel. I got one right here, as a matter of fact, right here. So when these came out,
tell us a little bit about the reel, since you've torn into them, Shawn. You're a reel expert.
So I have. Yep, I have torn into these reels, and I like them. They seem like it's going to be a winner, especially for the money. They're super smooth. They got a nice handle on them. You see that black handle on there, big round handle on them. Nice level wind. A lot of people don't know and haven't said anything about it yet. Mad Cats has a 2-year warranty on these. So anything happens, we can go ahead and get these back to Mad Cats, or you can get them back to Mad Cats, and they'll replace it for you. That's one great thing about it. Another thing is, after talking to Matt, I'm going to have parts available. So he just told me to get a parts list together, get it over to him, and he'll make sure I have parts. So that is a great point. That reel's at $119. So for me, if I'm budgeting a reel and I'm thinking it's $100, I might try to wait a couple extra weeks or another paycheck so I can budget in another $20 and maybe get myself a reel that I know I'm going to be able to get parts for. So you take Abu Garcia, buying Abu Garcia parts. You got eBay, you've got Amazon, you've got Dad's Old Tackle. You can buy Abu Garcia parts everywhere. The problem is, if you really get into fishing and pulling planter boards and things like that, it's going to cost you $70 every year to fix it. Where some of these other reels, it's really not. But even the Pissy Fun, all these reels are actually manufactured off from a major manufacturer. So a lot of these run off the same design as a major reel company. It's just figuring out which ones to be able to use to get parts for. So you bring back the Pissy Fun Chaos 50. That is the exact 100% reel of a Lew's SC600 that they sell for $119. It's the same reel for $59. And I've had them before, and I've got my own where I've even put loose parts in them to make sure they fit, and it goes right in, no problem. It is the exact same reel, just a different color that says Pissy Fun on it. So it's just finding, which reels you can get parts for. For me, long term, that's what's most important, is which ones I can get parts for.
So the new Mad Catz reels, what is all the upsides to them that a lot of people might not know? And you've torn
so
into
one thing.
stuff.
Let's start off with a couple of features of it. It does have carbon drags in it. That's one thing that's great. It's got double carbon drags. A lot of people looked at these like, oh, those are like an Ancient Mariner. No, they're really not at all. After you look at the drag system that's in them, the Ancient Mariners had plastic discs in them. These do not. So these are going to be a much stronger drag system. I think Mad Catz says they got up to 18 pounds of drag. This one here actually just tested the drag a little while ago, and I'm right at about 18 pounds. They've got a double reverse anti-dogs. So if also has a one-way bearing in it. So one-way bearing happens to fail, you still got two anti-reverse dogs in it. A lot of reels don't do that. You either have one or the other, not both. Except for Abu Garcia, they do have both, but only one anti-reverse dog and a one-way bearing. First thing you're going to notice about this reel is the spool capacity. Okay, so you look at it, it may look like it's about the same size of an Abu, but the spool is very deep in it, and it's very wide. So it's a little bit longer. I think that's why they called it 6550, is it's going to hold a lot more line. I believe this said it holds 320 yards of 20 pound. So Abu Garcia holds 220 yards of 15 pound. So it's going to hold more line. Compared to a lot of the other lesser expensive reels, it's also got dual cast control on it. So that's nice. Got dual cast control. Other than that, I mean, it's got, one thing I do like when we're talking about gears breaking, this one has aluminum level wind gear in it. It does not have a plastic level wind gear. It has aluminum level wind gear in it. Nice. So if you get your finger caught in there, don't get your finger caught in there. Yeah. But it's not going to break. If you snag off and you're not real prevy on break offs and you just start cranking on it, chances are you're not going to strip that gear out. That's one thing I do like about it. Nice smooth bearings, and I've had stock ones as well as modified ones already out, and even a stock one, they cast phenomenal. If you're a bank fisherman, you're putting this on a 10-foot goblin, man, it's going to cast like a dream. I'm telling you, it will cast out of this world. You put 4 or 5 ounces on it, you're lake fishing, you can put 4 or 5 ounces on it. And the brakes work great on it. It's got a 2-pin brake system in it, so casting it is a dream. It is super, super easy to cast, super easy to set up. A lot of people aren't real good at setting up twin controls on them, but really this one's super easy to set up.
Did you put mono on yours, Shawn?
Yeah, that's all I run. I don't run any braid. All I run is
how much 50-pound mono does a Mad Catz reel hold?
Yeah.
50-pound mono, I'm going to say you're probably at about 100. And now, when you talk about pounds, I use 30-pound, okay, because I'm mainly lake fishing. That's my go-to is 30-pound, and I use a 65-pound leader line.
That's what so it's really going to be. Epic fishes big rivers, and he goes for 100-pound fish.
Right. I wish I could too. I would say you're gonna be about. Yeah, me too. I wish I could too. I'm going to say you're going to be just off of knowing the diameter close to that, you'd be about 170 yards of 50-pound.
A ton of 50.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a ton of 170 yards for river fishing. That's a ton of 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to break off a few times. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's a good reel. I think you guys will like it. What I like about it is Matt stands behind his products, no matter what, whether it's rods, reels, line. Talk about line. I use the Structure Cat 30-pound mono. That's the only thing I run is mono.
I ran Berkeley Big Game for 30+ years. I said, what do I need to change for? Well, I got some Mad Catz, and I changed.
I could tell you exactly why they changed. There's absolutely no memory in this Mad Catz line compared to that Big Game that you were using before.
It's thinner. Man, it's actually a little stronger. It's thinner,
Yep.
less memory, less twist.
Right.
Everything
So
on every metric, it's better.
it is. It's better on every metric. It keeps its color good. If you are all about the color and running your lights on them, making them glow, they glow, man.
I mean, if it keeps the color, it's got to be more durable in my mind, because my big game, when it would get hazy, that's when I would know I need to change it, because it starts getting brittle when it gets hazy. It takes about
it does
2-3 months, and it would get hazy. But this stuff, man, looks as good now as when I put it on 5 months ago or 3-4 months ago.
You know, Shawn, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I forgot what I was going to say now. Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to hit up on, we're talking about the Mad Catz reel. When they come out, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of questions, and I'm glad that we're hitting on a lot of this stuff where everybody can finally know, hey, these reels are worth what the money is.
What Mad Catz charges for them is exactly what I feel the design is on it. As well as what's inside of it. It is more than a fair price for what the reel is. Is it going to be the beat all reel? Nobody knows. Let's be 100% honest. Nobody knows.
I think it's
I'm going to have. I have some. I'm going to fish them. I'm going to fish them. I have some. I'm going to fish them. I'm also going to fish my pens. I have Avets. I have. So I'm the reel guy. I have all kinds of reels. But I will be fishing these. They're probably going to go on my 10 and 12 foot rods. So I'm excited to get them out. And actually, I was supposed to go out this Saturday. I was going to go out and do some bank fishing this weekend and sling them, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. But that I will be using them, and I'm going to use them a lot during this summer. And I'm probably going to put them through some torture. Flathead season for us is about ready to kick off here in the next 30 days or so. So I'm going to be down doing that. I'm going to put them through some paces, and some guys that we already have. Some of the Mad Catz Pro staff guys, they're already out there doing that. I've seen some 60-pound fish come overboard with using that reel so far, and without any problems. So
I think time will tell. To me, it feels like a good reel. When I got it in my hands, it was solid. There was, when you get a cheap reel, there's wiggle, there's shimmy. It's just not precision. It's not put together with precision. There's just a little bit of shimmy in it, and it's like anything that's got a little bit of shimmy's probably not going to hold up for very long, and it feels tight.
It is. I actually the first one that I did was at midnight, that black one, and I had to loosen it up quite a bit. I felt like I needed to loosen it up. So I had to get in there and work on it pretty good to really get it to loosen up, and it responded well to it. I mean, as far as tuning goes, it responded very well to it. Some reels don't. Just depends how the gears are cut and things like that. Not every reel can turn out to be a real slinger. It's not going to be super smooth. That may not cast 18 miles. Even after you worked on it, just some reels don't have that ability to do that. The Mad Catz reel did. It was a real good. It responded to it real well.
Sunfish for Fish says, I haven't lost a fish off 30-pound big game. And I've lost a fish off of every line I've had, but it's generally not the line's issue. It's me not checking the line.
Yes.
I've lost some of my biggest fish. Yeah. If I got fresh line on, I would go off the cheapest line, and it would work.
Sure.
The difference is how durable it is over time, how well it holds up to sun. In Texas, we get blistering sun. And then abrasion.
The UV will kill it.
When I say abrasion resistance, I'm not around a bunch of rocks and crap. My abrasion is hauling ass across the lake with that thing whipping in the wind. Well, it's up in the rod holders. And if it's not abrasion resistant type line, you get a 60, 70 pound plus class fish. That's when you find out how well your line's going to hold up. And it's not on the 40. The 40 gets brought into the boat with damaged line. The 30 comes in with damaged line. It's when you get your good fish.
The 70 and 80 does not.
Right. That's when you lose your best fish almost every time if you got any problem with your line, your leader, you know, if you're not rigging everything and checking it and keeping it all perfect. So
That's it.
Man, I lost more fish with them rolling over on top of the line or getting wrapped up in the line than I have with the line itself. You know, I used big game for a long time. You can go to Walmart and buy it. Before I was fishing. You know what I mean? You can buy it at Walmart. Good line. What I don't like is just if you're just casting, you're tight lining. It just has so much memory. Trust me, a good line that doesn't have a lot of memory is going to cast far better than anything that has way too much memory in it. I bought this high dollar saltwater line, you know, that Diamond Momoy. I bought some of that stuff, and my gosh, I never seen anything with so much memory in it in my life. As soon as you go to cast, it just blows up on your reel. It is meant to troll for big fish. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
So the Mad Cast line's been good. The Structure Cat, I got some just to try out, and I fell in love with it. It's a little bit thinner, like Chris said. That's what I was going back to that 50-pound line question. It really depends on the diameter of the line. Depends upon how much you're going to get on the spool. These newer quality lines that are out now they're a thinner diameter and with more tensile strength.
Yeah,
so,
and I believe they also have a more of a UV resistance, which for guys like me in Texas, I think the UV is what weakens them more than even like
it does.
abrasion where I fish.
Yes.
I'm in a silty lake. My problem is UV from the sun. That's what cooks
from the sun.
So.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely. That's for us too.
Shawn, tell me this. Do you find some reels rougher on lines than other reels? I've been asked that before. I've had people say, you know, some reel seems like it's a lot rougher. It tears my line up and stuff. Is there any truth to that from your standpoint?
So there can be. And this goes back to how much do you want to spend on a reel? Okay. Some reels, the guide that the line goes through is going to be maybe not such a great quality. So it gets pits in it and then it tears your lines up. The way that the line guide is braced, how it's braced in there and held steady will determine how much it messes up your line. So yes, it goes right back to how much money do you want to spend. I can tell you right now, Chris's Dakotas, don't tear up those lines. My Fathoms, don't tear up the lines. As a matter of fact, the Pissy Fun's been great online. I've actually had more issues with some of the Abus, the 7,000 Abus, more than anything, tearing up lines. But I don't even fish those anymore. But there is some truth to that. The biggest thing you can do is when you spool, when you take it off, is to inspect your line guide. They're super inexpensive. And if there's any pits in it or if there's any wear on them, is to change that line guide out. I change a lot of them. I have boxes and boxes of line guides because people send me reels and I inspect that as a part that I inspect. And I have to change them out a lot of times.
And I see a lot of people over spooling their line on their reels.
Yeah.
And at the top of that, you notice sometimes that line goes up inside and gets caught up around the inside and stuff. I see a lot of people making mistakes on that. I've done that myself from time to time.
Not me. I suck at casting. I shallow spool that bad boy. No. No, I can't. I'm a pretty good hand at the old casting. I've been throwing pins for a long time. I'm pretty good at it nowadays. But that's another thing. Another thing is when you're spooling your lines, is how much tension are you putting on that line? Are lines digging into each other because you're trying to spool it too tight? Yeah. So when the line digs into each other, that can also damage your line. A lot of people, if you don't fish very much, and then it sits in there and you have it in your garage and things like that, you'd be surprised in one throw how much crap will fly off of that line from it sitting in your garage and just deteriorating.
Yes.
Fresh spool. That's why I'm a mono guy. Man, I don't have enough money to buy braid like I want to spool my fishing reels. Yeah. And I got way too many fishing reels to be wanting to put braid on them. Mono's inexpensive, and let's be real, it's got the job done forever. Before braid even existed, it got the job done. There's big catfish that were caught way before braid was even existed. Braid has its places, I feel like braided has its places. It's not
I see
for
how
me.
guys, they fish little stump fields and little timber stand-ups and stuff. They want to rip that
I
thing
love that.
through there. But I drag a lot. The last thing I
Yeah.
want is to be hung up where I got to sit there and fight a break off while I got 10
Yeah.
lines out. And plus,
Yeah.
when you cross over lines with braid, you can't just
Let's jump.
untangle everything
Yeah.
like you can with mono. Guys
No.
like, man, you're a freaking magician at untangling shit. I'm like, yeah. I mean,
Welcome to being a fisherman.
I've been tangled every week for the last, 2 decades.
That's what we do. That's what we do. That's really the only reason we swear on the boat is if we're tangled up or we're backlashed.
And now, Shawn, I see the game changing even more. I see a lot of people now we're going to the power handles.
Yes. Like new Catfish Reels got power handles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's a good
about every reel I own has a power handle on it anymore.
Yeah.
It's a way to go. I cringe sometimes when somebody sends me these old Abus, 6600 Abus that have these little tiny handles on them. I'm like, what are you catching with that? I can't fathom your 5500 with this little tiny handle from like it's a 1970s model. And I'm like, man, what are you catching with this? And then be out catfishing with it. My grandpa gave me that, so I get it. Your grandpa gave it to you. Put it on the shelf and go buy something new.
I love the power handles. I mean, back in the day,
Me too.
You didn't see a lot of the power handles back in the day, but now all of a sudden, every reel, a lot of these people you see, majority of them, they've got them now. And I'm gonna tell you, I love them. I really do.
Yeah. I tell you what, I did just some design work for Gomexis a while back. I don't know if you guys have seen the power handles that they've made for the pens, and I did some design work with them.
Pretty much like this Mad Catz, right?
Yeah, it's got the round ball on it. Yeah, and I love the way that feels. They got ceramic bearings in them. They're super smooth. But I've got them on all my pens. Don't tell anybody, but I put magnetic brakes on my pens also. So it's got, they don't have any brakes on them. So mine have magnetic brakes on them, so I can really sling the heck out of them. But they've got
Shawn Brown. What's up?
Yeah, we won't tell nobody.
What's going on, Justin? You made it. What's up, Justin? You made it. I'm glad to see you made it, Bubba. I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. I'm a little bit mad at you. I'm about to message you, and we need to have a talk.
Oh, gosh, Nate says best mono without memory, and I got to say,
Mad Catz, man,
best I've seen.
Yeah, I tell you what, I love the Mad Catz. That's what I use. I have another option if I'm spooling for customers that I also like. It's very thin, and that's the vicious fishing. I've got some customers that think about I got Mad Catz and I've got this, and the vicious fishing's pretty good line too. And you can get it at Tackle Bandit. A couple of these other places have it. Catfish Connection has it. Man, you can get like 1,900 yards of it for like $29 or something like that. It's pretty good value, and it holds up real well. I've done some of my own testing on it. Before Mad Catz had their line, that was actually what I was using. So now I'm just strictly the Mad Catz. But I definitely think that those two lines, as far as memory go, are above and beyond everything else I've ever used. Yeah. So for me, the diameter, them being abrasion resistant, and that memory, those are the three top things that I look for when I'm looking for a line. And those two, for me, they nail it. But the Mad Catz, above and beyond everything else, has been just top notch.
Tim says he's caught a few 100-pounders with those 6500s with the tiny little paddle handles. It's
First of all, Tim, I'm just jealous you caught a couple of 100-pounders.
He's got a bunch of 100-pounders, though. I call him the king of 100-pounders. But here's Tim,
I don't know, man.
100-pounder.
Yeah, he's getting the 100-pounder
fight too, man, with the double little.
That
That
thing,
was-
that really even got any drag. It's got like 6 pounds of drag. You're catching 100-pounders on 6 pounds of drag. I love it, man. You're an angler. That makes you an
Hell.
angler.
Yeah.
I mean, I crank that drag down and I just muscle it in. I don't care how big it is. I tie a knot. It's not going to quit. And I just crank that drag down. Everybody says it pulled drag. I go, man, I've got some big fish. I'd never pull drag. I got that drag so tight. People are like, well, I'll know when the clicker goes off. My clicker ain't going off, buddy. This rod's going to break before the clicker goes off.
Now,
If I could, it'd be like a differential in a car. I'd weld that drag down. I wouldn't even have any. I just weld it all the way tight.
that's it. Now, Shawn, for the everyday fisherman, where would you start at the top of the line reel and work your way back down? What would you suggest?
Man, you know, I'm a pen guy, so it'd be really hard for me not to say if I'm rolling up, I'm gonna start catfishing. I'm gonna spend some money. Pen Fathom. I'd have to go with the Pen Fathom. Shimano Dakota would be another one. A couple of the Daiwas. The Daiwas are great.
I hear a lot of guys say they like the Saltist. Is that a good reel?
Yeah, the Saltist. That's exactly what I would use. If you can get the old black Saltist, that one's even better. But yeah, the Daiwa Saltist, the Pen Fathom, and the Shimano Dakota. If you got money to spend, or if you really don't even know, man, I like the Avits too. I like anything that doesn't have a level wind on it, to be honest with you. So I mean, I've got some pens that don't have level winds on them. I've got some casting specials that are amazing. So all those are going to be in that. Every one of those reels in the $250 range. So if you want to spend $250 on a reel, Pen Fathom, Daiwa Solstice, Shimano Dakota, and then anything else that doesn't have a level wind on it. That'd be your best bet. Now, if you're starting at the bottom and you're just a poor guy like me, then you're probably going to want like a
guy running Avits and
shut up
and pins.
Hey, I got the hookup. All right, I got the hookup. I learned to catch fish.
He's also intelligent. He's smart with his money.
Smart with my money. I always have been. But yeah, I mean, there, you know, that's it. It goes with everything. It's just how much do you want to spend? How serious do you want to be? Is this something you want to dabble in? Is this something you want to get started in? Hey, you know what? How I started? Hey, we're gonna go fishing this Friday night with some stink bait. I'm like, stink bait? All right. I went to Walmart and I got this Jimmy Houston. I don't know, it was camouflage looking thing, and it had a spinning reel on it that just was a complete pile of garbage. And I went catfishing, man, and I loved it and thought, probably going to invest a little bit more money in this. Yeah. Now, God, am I stupid? I have so much crap. I got a shop full of it. I got a spare bedroom that I've got bait takes in. I've got, oh, man, it's all my.
Yeah. I bet, John, I bet you're in.
If you don't want to spend a lot of money, just don't go catfishing and catch a lot of fish the first time.
I
thought, well, I'm pretty good at this.
Here I don't use.
I think
yeah, right.
Justin was asking, have you ever used a Salt Striker reel?
Salt Striker? No, I have not used a Salt Striker, but my friend McNell Lawson, I think he might be watching right now. He had a couple of Salt Strikers, and he still uses spinning reels that are Salt Strikers, and he likes them. So I have never worked on them. I know he's had them apart and cleaned them, but I have not used them. But I do know he does like them, and he goes out, and let me tell you, this guy's fishing a couple of times a week. He loves his fishing almost as much as we all do.
Our teammate, Team Lad, says, I don't know if that's Brian or Brandon. I like hand lining. Best. It's free and fun.
Says the brothers that need to have ceramic bearings in everything. just send me all the ceramic bearings you have in the shop. Just send me all of them.
That's it. That's it.
That's exactly what they say too. Hey, you just send me a bunch of bearings. But I mean, you know what? You want to talk about upgrade of reels and stuff like that. Every reel's available to be upgraded. Yours is, Daiwa's, Salsa's. Man, I've got bearing kits for these $50 pissy fun reels that just make them stupid crazy. I mean, bearings is one thing, but there's a lot more to it that's out there for making things smoother and better. I ran my world. I used to own a diesel shop for a lot of years, and I ran with the attitude is everything's better off modified. So, how I got into this, my dad actually, when I was a kid, I tore shit apart all the time. If there's something to be, Dad came home with a new lawnmower, I got it tore apart the next day. He's mad as heck at me. Same with fishing reels. I got a couple of fishing reels I started tearing apart, and my dad showed me how to put them back together after I couldn't put them back together. And I learned how to do it.
Shawn, here's me taking a fishing reel apart. Oh, shit.
Where'd that go?
And working on some of these things, man, you're looking under that light with the magnet up under it,
Yeah.
With some fine needle nose, and you know what I'm talking about, Shawn.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That little tiny C-clip, it just goes twing, and it's gone. You go, crap. It's a good thing I got 200 of those because it happens to me all the time.
I'm going to take a picture of this when I take it apart.
Yes.
And then, bing, as soon as it opens up, that thing goes flying off. I'm like, well.
My favorite phone call or my favorite text message or instant message or whatever you want to call them these days, my favorite DM is, I have a reel in pieces. Do you think you can put it back together? That's my favorite one. And I go, so my first reply is, are all the parts there? Well, and then they always say, well, I think so.
Well, everything but whatever flew off that thing when I opened it.
Yeah, they say, well, I took it apart and I can't get it back together.
I realized I was not a real repairman about age 12 when I was trying to work on my Shimano Bantam 100. I'm like, okay.
That's what I had, the Shimano Bantam 100. That's where I started, right on that Shimano Bantam 100. That's how I started learning to cast. I tell you what, you talk about a lot of upset days learning how to try to cast that thing when we were little. I went through a lot of line and I went through a lot of frustrations. I can't believe I still fish over trying to throw that thing. I think I was about 12 years old when I got that. How old are you, Chris? You got to be about my age.
Don't tell anybody.
49. Yeah, I'm almost 47 here next week. So, yeah, we got those about the same time. So I don't know how you threw yours, but
you know how I got mine? Jimmy Houston said, "Yeah, you want to go catch some fish?" I think I was 7, 8 years old. He said, "You want to go catch some fish? Go get you a Shimano Bantam 100. You can buy them at Walmart." Yep. Back then, they were made in Japan. You can buy them at Walmart. Get you a Shimano bullwhip rod, also sold at Walmart, and get you a Terminator spinner blade. I got me some Terminator spinner blades. He was right. I remember those my first cast, I had a freaking bass on.
You had a fish. Then you're hooked. Now look at you. Look at where you're at today versus then.
Yeah, now I use them for bait. I mean,
don't tell Jimmy Houston that.
Chris, now
you can tell Bill Dance that. Don't tell Jimmy Houston that, though. He'll pray for you, though. Jimmy Houston, he'll pray for you. Bill Dance, like, hey, bring that largemouth bass over here. We're gonna put that on for bait. I tell you what, we all grew up. A lot of times on Sunday, if I'm not fishing or whatever, and I click on the TV and Hank Parker's on or something that, it brings me back. Hank Parker reminds me of my dad all the time, so I always go want to watch him because he reminds me of my dad. Just always seemed like he was just chill, like just happy to be out doing it, and that's what takes me back when I watch those shows. And if we weren't fishing, every morning I'd wake up and go out there in the living room, and my dad would be watching, drinking coffee, watching Jimmy Houston, Bill Dance, or Hank Parker. Those were his guys,
Yeah, and those were my guys too. And I think that's where I learned about big fish conservation and why I try to get that going in catfishing. It's been a long haul to get that going, but I feel like it's helped. I know it's helped in my area. I know you're big about big fish conservation, getting kids on the water.
I am.
Yes.
Kids
And
on the water,
I
big
think that's
fish
cool.
conservation, veterans on the water. You know, I sponsor some events that the Lad Boys put on. Actually, you know, Brian puts on some stuff, and if it has to do with kids or veterans, I'm always in to donate a reel or donate some services or something like that, just to help out. You know what I mean? It may not be sponsor the whole event or anything like that, but if I could sponsor, so I try to figure out some way to help in my small business for anything that has to do with kids, veterans. I think I think the last one that I sponsored was a fostering one. So I mean, anything that has to do with that, I'm trying to be involved in it. That's for sure.
I think that's
exactly,
awesome. That
yeah.
you know, I think a lot of us have a similar type of mentality towards that. I get a lot of guys ask me, "What do
Yeah,
you get out of that?" You know, and I said, "You just get to feel good." I mean, I don't get
sure,
benefit
Yeah.
anyway. I
sure,
think it's cool giving back to the veterans because they did so much for us. I think it's cool getting
sure.
kids started. I think it's
Man,
cool
that's the
helping
best.
guys. You know,
And,
uh,
Sure.
you know, Chris, the best thing. Matter of fact, I had it this past weekend at CatCon. A family walked up to us, and out of nowhere, man, one that we've never met in person, and not going, but it made us feel good. They come up to us, hugged our neck, shook our hands, and said, "Thank you so much
Sure.
for what you've done." And that makes
Yeah.
you be able to pick up your head and smile, and knowing your heart's full, man. It really does. So
Sure.
that's a good feeling.
It's good. It's good to get well known in this industry like that. Even here locally, I'm pretty well known here locally and around Oklahoma quite a bit. And you get off the lake sometimes. I run into a convenience store one time. A kid was in there, and evidently his dad's on my Facebook page, and I had my jersey on. I think it's this exact one actually, and he asked me for my autograph, and I'm like,
Yeah.
huh? I was like, what? Like, all right, man. I start talking to him about fishing for I don't know, 10 minutes, and then here comes his mom, and I was like, all right, catch you later, man. He giving me knuckles, and off he goes, and I'm like, did that really just happen? This kid just asked me for my autograph. I'm like, let's be real, dude. I'm nobody. I'm like, you act like I'm Michael Jordan. I'm nobody, man. I catch catfish for crying out loud. But it's cool that kids look at you like that. That's why I always say when you're out like that, man, and you're on the water or you're at the boat ramp or any place like that, don't act like a heathen. Don't act like a moron. If kids ask questions, man, take the time to show them. Show them what's going on. They want to look at all your rods. Let them look at all your fishing rods. They want to see the reels. Let them look at them. Just stuff they might be interested in. There's a reason I got into this fishing trip last week is a friend of mine from back home says, hey, my son's really taking a liking to fishing. You want to show him some stuff? Sure. I'll show. Come on, let's go.
yeah,
That's how that whole thing even started,
we actually carry stickers around now with the Carolina Lake Weight stickers. And not
Sure.
too long ago, a couple times we've had it happen. We pull up at a gas pump, have the boat behind us and stuff, and the kids come over and they actually want to get their picture taken. They see the stickers on the side of the boat. And, when we go to the truck, we'll pull out some decals. Here you go, buddy. That just makes the day,
almost like the cops showing up and giving them those little badges,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure it happens to Chris. Chris's boat just looks cool as heck, so I'm sure every kid at the gas station wants their picture taken with Chris's boat.
At the gas station, they're like, hey, and they start asking questions. I'll start becoming getting friendly. I'm a friendly guy, so whoa.
Oh, we lost Shawn, brother.
I'll start talking and getting friendly with them, and then here we go. He's back.
Bam. We're back.
I'll see guys at the gas station, and I'll start chatting them up, and I'll say, come find me. Here's where I'm at. Just come find me.
Yeah.
And I'll take them fishing. They're like, I can't believe
I do the same thing. I just
love doing that,
Sure. I would love talking about it.
Some of my
I've asked
those guys.
Our game wardens up here, they put on fishing clinics for kids, and I'm always trying to get involved in some way, shape, or form with that. Seems like every time they've had to do it, I've had to work. But one of these days, I'm gonna take the days off to be able to be involved with it. And and go do that. Maybe do some giveaways, stupid stuff like that. Just stuff that's super easy. We can do things that are easy that don't cost us a lot of money or don't put us out, that these kids are going to realize and remember forever and forever. You know, hey, I got this fishing rod. I remember when I got that fishing rod. It's just so much simple stuff. Hey, you know what? We get some stupid deals on fishing rods. I mean, let's be real. We could go without one of them. You know what I mean? I always say, if I got a kid out with me and he catches a PB on that fishing rod, you're taking that fishing rod home with you.
Yeah, that's
exactly
the way that how I do it too, man. I'm like, you're getting a rod. Here's your rod. You know,
that's it.
Here's your rod. You know what? I order me 8 more goblins on Monday. It's fine, right? It's not a big deal.
You know, that's the best part of a lot of us. That's like you said earlier. You know, in this industry, you know, we're able to give back, and you know, when you're able to give back, or when you can take that time, you know, that's just what it's all about. You know, it's about catching the fish. It's about releasing them, getting pictures. But when you can help somebody out, you know, it just even that much more. It just takes it up a level. You know, it's just excellent.
I'm not giving you my spot though.
There you go.
I'm not giving my spot away.
John, you'll go take somebody right to it. It's like, am I right?
And then they're going to drop a pin, and then they're going to be in my spot with technology. Hey, let me drop a pin right here.
My bait holes are busted out. They are just flat busted out.
Busted out.
But, you know, the fish aren't going to be there when you go back.
Yeah.
Bait holes, you do screw yourself by taking a lot of guys' fish. I've totally screwed myself on my home lake on some of my bait holes because I take all these guys. I mean, I got a new guy on the boat damn near every week. I take them to go get bait, and then they're all telling all their buddies.
Not me.
I'm like, hey,
guys, you're going fishing with me. I already got bait.
I'm like, you know, y'all use the same bait hole every week. It ain't gonna be any bait. I mean, this bait's not done.
That's right.
It's gone. Keep throwing the net on them every week. They won't be there the next week. So
that's right. That's right.
That way, but it is what it is, man. I mean,
Chris,
I enjoy it, guys, and I've got different bait holes, and now I've learned, Shawn, go get bait the night before you take.
Bingo, you got it. Bingo, you got it right there. I got bait already. Get in. Let's go. I got bait.
Yeah. Chris, did you see Eptic's comment 70s on the metal Zebco 33s?
I believe that. Lots of drag on that metal Zebco 33. That's a heck of a reel. It'll get it done.
That's it.
Back then, that was
hey, you know what? I've had in the last 4 years, I had surgery on both of my elbows, and let me tell you, if it wasn't for a Zebco 33 Max, I wouldn't have been able to fish with my arms in a cast. But I went out and got it done with my arms in a cast still. So they have their place, and they'll still get the job done. I think I got a picture somewhere of that thing hanging off the back of the boat somewhere. But they'll catch fish.
Yep. And you
know what? I'm gonna tell you a story about taking guy fishing. So this guy hits me up on Facebook, and he's asking me questions. I mean, this guy ran me ragged for like a year and a half, but he was always listening. Whatever I told him to do, he would go do. One day he hit me up. He was headed out to the lake, and he was asking, you know, what I thought. And here, I'm not going to tell you a spot. I'm going to say, if I were you, I'd find about 5 feet of water. That's it. You know, I'm not going to tell you the spot. And a little while later, I go, you know what? This cat's done me pretty good. I'm going to go fishing with him. I say, hey, Matt, why don't you just meet me out there? I'll go fishing with you today. And he was all excited. We went out. We caught a bunch of fish, and he caught a couple of real good ones that day. And I'll tell you this right now. He's my best friend today just because of fishing right there. And he ran me ragged fishing the spillways. And I said, man, you got to get out of the spillway. Go fish the lake. That's easy. Go challenge yourself a little bit. And he did. He got himself in there, and he's one of the hardest working fishermen I've ever seen in my life. And now, right before I left to go to Texoma, man, I'm out with his family having dinner for his birthday. We're best friends now. That's what fishing can do if you just give people a chance. You know what I mean? This community it's a small community. We all know each other. We all or know of each other, and it's cool to be able to bring new people in and show them the ways a little bit. I love it. That's what I love about this. You know, I haven't been to CatCon because every time that's coming on, I just want to go fishing. I don't want to talk about it. I want to go do it. But I really wanted to go. I know I talked to Mosley a couple of times. I was talking about going with him. I got a couple other customers that were going to go, and I was really planning on going this year, and that's really why I wanted to go, because I want to get together with guys like you and Mosley. I see Mosley at fishing dock all the time at Texoma, but even, you know, Matt, I still haven't met him, and I feel like I need to do that. I still feel like I've got things I need to do, but I just want to be on the water all the time. I want to fish. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to look at all this crap. I just want to go fish. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, I think CatCon's something, though, at this point, now that I've been to a few of them, I don't know that I want to miss another one. It's just, you know, I fish.
Yeah, see, that's why I want to go fishing. I mean, every year I'm going to want to go back.
It's a very unique show. I mean, you really do meet a lot of people in the industry. You shake a lot of hands. I mean, it's a very unique show. It really is.
There's something about looking somebody in the eye and talking to them for 30 minutes that you just don't get from being online. You know, I've been really good friends with a lot of these guys from 2,000 miles away, and to get to see them up face to face is special.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
know,
and it doesn't matter whether it's Mad Cats or it's Big Cat Fever. You know, if it's Tyler Barnes, it doesn't matter who it is. You know, we all know each other. We all know of each other. We might be sponsored by Mad Cats, pro staff for Mad Cats, but it doesn't mean we can't be buddies with, you know, the guys at Big Cat Fever or Catch the Fever. You know, we can be buddies with those guys. You know, it doesn't matter. I've learned that along the way at first. So when I first started this, my first sponsor was Slime Cat. And man, if you even talked about another rod, or you talk to anybody with another rod, you get pistol whipped almost, you know? And so I kind of had that mentality for a little while, and I was like, man, it was a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you. For a little while, Matt and I didn't even get along.
CatCon, everybody kind of came together. I didn't see any of that, rod war.
I'm glad that went away. That was some harshness. I mean, even I think at one point Matt and I got into it, and he was flying out here to Oklahoma, and him and I were gonna I was gonna meet him at the airport or something. It was funny. And now we're friends. You know, it just all that kind of went away to the wayside. And I understand his passion, and at the time I understand Justin's passion. I'm glad things worked out the way that they did. Mad Cats has been amazing to me, and I know they have been for you too, Chris. I can't imagine using another fishing rod or another company. You know, I'm loyal to everybody that supports me. I'm totally loyal to them.
I know guys there's tons of good rods, but
there is there's a lot of them
that nobody, and I've used quite a few of them.
I still have some Big Cat Fever rods here
with more respect or more love than the Mad Cats. Matt and I, with me and my son, you know, I've been with other brands before. It was just not like that. It didn't make me feel that.
Yeah, it really is like a family. You know, I looked at
they got great products, but it is about there's just something different for me.
It is as well for me. It's knowing you. Look at us now. Mosley, you know, it's I can bet him for a beer next time I'm on the lake. You know, the Ladd brothers, and you know, hey, anytime you're coming to Tennessee, let's go fishing. You know, that's the type of stuff. You know, Dave Duggar invited me to come down and fish Santee Cooper with him. You know, it's just different. You're right. It is. It's a lot different than what I'd experienced in the past, and it's a good experience. It is 100% legit a good experience. I had issues with one rod. Out of all the rods I've bought and fished and gotten rid of, I had issues with one rod, and immediately taken care of. You know,
I agree. I do see a lot of similarities in a lot of the guys that I hang out with in the catfish industry. Jamie Dunn invited me to his house. Matt Knight invited me to his house.
Right.
Tim Scott, Epic Catfish, invited me to his house. You know, all asked me to come fishing on their boat. It's just it's like, hey, we're brothers. Just come on. All you got to do is show up. And
just show up. That's it.
You know.
And even we've talked about it. I mean, we've tried to get together. I don't know about as many times we tried to get on this show. I'm still coming out fishing with you. You know,
together for 2 years now. So
I know we have been, haven't we? And every time I get down there and I jump in with Daniel, and I think, man, I could jump in with Chris next day or Mosley the next day. Mosley's booked, and you got something going on. You know what I mean?
This past weekend, he's like, yeah, when Shawn comes down, let's just all jump on my boat and y'all can all leave your crap at home and just jump, jump on. And, Matt's a good dude. Yeah. He fishes very similar to me, very similar to Daniel. We all fish very similar. I would imagine you fish just like us.
Yep.
Same style.
That's why, like I say, I fish a lot like Daniel does. I've been on the boat with him more than probably most people, and I know he took Mosley under his wing a little bit and sent him some guide trips and helped him a lot. So I guarantee you, he kind of fishes that same way as well. That's why I just feel like it's the right way. I see other people, like I said before, I see other people do different things. I'm like, well, do what you're going to do. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. You stay in your wheelhouse, I'll stay in mine. Because that's just what. But it's weird though that one of the reasons I don't watch YouTube videos is because everybody's from somewhere else, and I feel like, and what I've noticed is what I feel like works here in Texas and maybe Alabama, maybe it doesn't work over in North Carolina, or what they're doing over there doesn't work over here. So how I fish here, if I showed up and wanted to drag planter boards for channel cat or flatheads in Arizona, people look at me like I was an alien. You just don't do that.
Yeah. I bet you'd have it figured out in about 2 hours.
Yeah, I probably would, guaranteed. What you do is you just get with the right person to know that can show you how they do it over there. But you know what? After talking to enough people, I realized the difference is you and I don't have a whole lot of current to fish. Yeah. Where you look at I see these guys fishing the Missouri River and they're throwing like a pound of weight, and I'm like, a pound of weight? My whole setup doesn't even weigh that much. You're throwing a pound of weight? Where I'm at, probably for you too. Who needs an extra heavy fishing rod?
Yeah.
So I think really like the fishing, the big current and stuff like that would be my biggest challenge, and that's something that in this next year, that's something I do want to challenge myself with, is going and doing that either in the Missouri, the James, Mississippi, bumping, doing different things. You know what I mean? I do the same thing. And if you're not doing something different, I feel like I'm not progressing, and I still want to progress.
Every year I want to go. I tell myself I'm going to get up there and go fish with Tim, Epic Catfish. The season rolls by, and I'm like, shit, I missed it again.
I know. Sometimes it's hard to get away sometimes to go do those things. One great thing about you guys,
East Coast, that fish North Carolina, South Carolina. I'm like, I'm going to go, and then I miss it. It's like,
you talking about current?
Yeah.
We're sitting here developing the new 10-ounce, 6-ounce, 8-ounce river weights and stuff for these guys. That's
awesome.
So we're for the James River. This is what we're dragging on our rivers and stuff. And sometimes,
you're dragging 10s and I'm dragging 2s.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. So, that's the difference. Like you're dragging 10s, I'm dragging 2s. That's the difference.
And just this last week at CatCon, we've got up. We make everything from a 1 ounce up to a 10 ounce now. So we got the new 5 ounces that we done today. We got the 6 ounces, and we go up as far as to all the 10s now. It's just amazing at everybody with different waters. With the current, with the different things, and how much weight, how much difference it is. I mean, just a couple.
Unbeknownst to me, not everybody uses 2 or 3 ounce. Everybody else uses like 10 and 16 ounces. I'm like, what the heck? I can't even fathom that idea. You know what I mean? I'm running Madcap mediums. Y'all using these extra heavy rods, and I'm like, what do you need that for? I'm dragging baits. I want the lightest rod I can possibly use.
Don't get me wrong.
It's a different world.
I do a lot of fishing down in Santee Cooper and different places like that. I'm using the 2 ounce, but when I'm hitting the Great PD River or different river systems. You know, we were like, okay, we've got to do something for our river guys. So now we developed these style of dragging weights that you can anchor fish with, or you can drag on a lot of these different style rivers to help the guys out on the rivers.
So how long is that weight that
this one right
river
here
weight?
is about the same size as the 2 ounce. It's probably right around I believe it's right around 13 and a half inches long.
13 and a half inches. Yeah.
Okay. Now this here, the new 5 ounce that we've done is even shorter. It's about the same size of our 3 ounce that we've come up with now. So
oh, there you go. Yes.
So, you know, that's just about the same size as the 3 ounce, but it's a 5 ounce.
Right.
So that's a brand new one that we've made up today that we're going to be introducing at CatCon. So not CatCon, but at Alabama next week. We're heading to Alabama for a fishing show down there for 3 days. But this is the 10 ounce. So
right.
We're doing it. Not getting longer, we're not getting shorter. We're doing them in the same sizes as, like I said, the 2 ounce and different things like that. So yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely have to try them. I'm gonna have to get on some of those. That's for sure. Definitely want to check them out.
Tim, yeah, you're right. I mean, you know, your current. I know you've got the 10s are probably for a little bit slower.
Tim goes in water that normally most fish don't swim in.
Yeah,
he's got 24-ounce dragon weights.
He doesn't even
Abu Garcia 5500 with the little tiny handle on it.
Tim, stick around. I will get you something, brother. I promise you. I will get you something for you.
That's a good mentality. I will have something for everybody.
Yeah, it will be for the Tim Scott. I promise. I'll get you, brother. You give us enough time, we'll get something for everybody.
Y'all have it. How many viewers we have right now? We have anybody that's got any questions on reels, fishing, rods, any of that good stuff?
I bet we probably do. We had a bunch of questions earlier. It's hard to keep up with all of them, man.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I'm gonna address, and most everybody on here, because I know the people you want to have on your show are seasoned fishermen for the most part. I get a question all the time, and I get, do I want medium, or do I want medium heavy, or do I want heavy? And so my answer to that when choosing a fishing rod, and I don't care which fishing rod it is to mix apples with apples. So you take, and this is an easy comparison because I've done it. You take a Mad Cat's medium rod, and you take a Big Cat Fever rod, and you have a medium versus a medium heavy, and they both spec the same. The Mad Cat's a medium though, and the medium heavy is the Big Cat Fever rod or the Hellcat. The best response I have is you have to compare apples to apples. So a lot of people will say, oh, they just automatically buy a medium, and then they complain that they don't like the medium heavy or a heavy, and they complain about the action of the rod, but they didn't really look at what the specs of the rod is and what the rod's really meant for. And that's something that I can tell you when choosing a fishing rod is look at compare apples to apples when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Don't just listen to the medium heavy, extra medium heavy, all of that stuff. Look at the ounces you're throwing. Be real with yourself on what you really need, and be honest with you, buy the lightest action you can get away with, because you're going to get better hook sets that way, and you'll be more successful that way.
You know, I see, Chris, I think me and you hit on this past weekend. I see a lot of people they're not making mistakes. They're doing it on purpose. They're buying these, rods, what we call trying to make pictures, get videos, showing these rods all bent over. A lot of people, me and you hit up on some of that. A lot of people is going that route just to do videos and, stuff like that.
Sure.
But yet I feel that they're messing up too. I mean, I know you're trying to show off different stuff, but sometimes I think a lot of people's messing up by trying to just show off.
Hey,
Sure.
I got you on that one, buddy. Okay, here's the way I look at it. Okay, you need a soft tip. If you're dragging, you need a soft tip to smooth out your planer boards in big water.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Absolutely.
you also need some spring in it to set the hook.
Yeah.
So there is
Sure.
a fine line between it being too soft, where you can't hoe off into them, and it being too stiff, where it's not presenting it in a natural presentation. Now, if you're sitting there and you want the rod to look like I got a giant on it, you got a real soft tip, but you're not going to be able to get a good hook set. And on certain days, you need to be able to get the hook buried into a fish. And if you don't get a good hook up, it could be in the tooth patch. And if you can't put that hook through a bone plate, you won't catch the fish. It's in the skin and it rips out. So there's a fine line on a weird hookup type day. You won't catch any of those on that flimsy thing you can't bury a hook in. And if it's too stiff when you're dragging, I don't catch any fish on a stiff deal where it's just ripping my bait on a weight.
I want as light as I can
rod that's catching the fish is the one that's doing when that tip's going like this and smoothing out my presentation. Now, anchoring and dragging is two different things, but I drag most of the time. So a soft tip with a strong backbone and a reel that I can freaking crank down on and suck up a lot of line is what's going to hook my fish. And I mean, that's my preference. So.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about earlier, and it's really just preference of what you like. Chris and I both like a higher speed reel. I want a 5.3 to 6.3 to 1 reel, where some of these reels that are out, you take the Mad Cats, and it's no fault of its own. It's just what you prefer. I like a faster speed reel if I'm fishing and I'm in heavy cover. I want to be able to get that bait up off the bottom of the lake or the river. And some of these slower reels, say like a 4.2 to 1, it just takes longer to get them up and takes longer to get fish in. But they say, hey, you got more stump pulling power. You do. It's just it's just what you like. And for me, I like a higher speed
with
reel.
My Dakotas, which are a high gear ratio. Out of all the reels that I've had that were a lower gear ratio, it's got way more cranking power at a high gear ratio than all my low gear ratio reels. It's completely different. I can rip that thing, and it is just sucking line.
You can rip that thing, and you can rip big fish too.
Out.
Yeah,
but
remember when I was talking about the pins and what makes a good reel, and I was talking about the gear size, not necessarily the gear ratio, but the pure gear size and the brute strength that's behind that gear. That's what allows you to be able to do that and still have a 6.3 to 1 ratio to get you your speed that you want, but you still have the stump pulling behind it.
Yeah.
That for me, that's what makes the perfect reel for me. That's what I like. If I'm fishing, I'm pulling planter boards and I got to move stuff around, I got to reel some up, I want to get it done quick. If I got to move some stuff out of the way, move some things around, I want to be able to do it quick. And the way you're going to get that done is with a high ratio.
Yeah.
I mentioned that during this time of year, between now and the end of April, I'm going to be fishing in real shallow water. I'm not going to be pulling boards. I'm going to be anchored up in shallow water.
I'm pretty much anchored unless I go to
fish tend to do weird things. I don't know how much shallow water you guys do. I don't know how much shallow water fishing you guys do, but fish do some weird stuff in shallow water. They'll run away from you. They'll run at you. They'll run sideways.
Oh, yeah.
There's no place for them to go. But when you're not fishing in 40 to 70 feet of water, you got to catch up to them all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was about to say you're playing.
So I'm
quite a bit.
You are. There's no place for them to go, so they're always playing catch up. You're always playing catch up with them. So I want a high ratio reel. So that's why I choose the reels that I do. There's just, when it comes to reels, there's a lot of good ones that are on the market. I'll be honest. I think the lesser expensive ones, I really don't think there's real bad reels. The more expensive ones you get, they've got some better features to them. Some people require line counters, depending upon how you're fishing or what you're fishing for. Out here, we got cat fishermen that also spoonbill fishermen, and so they need to have line counters for dipsy divers and things like that. Fishing out here is outrageously crazy. People, they did a study about spoonbill fishing out here about how much revenue it brings into the state, and it's out of control. The millions and millions of dollars spoonbill fishing brings into the state. But I think in that situation, you probably want to, this cat over here at Keystone. I don't know if you've seen him, Keystone paddle fish guide, whatever his name is.
Catching.
Yeah, Nick Medford. This cat's bringing he caught 4 world records in a year out of that lake. I could see trying to catch a 120-pound spoonbill, bringing it in sideways. I'd probably want a 4:2-to-1 ratio. But for what we do, for me, I want a higher speed reel with a big gear.
Yeah. What reels does he use?
So for a while I've got one here for Lance Lutke. I got an order from him here, and he uses dipsy divers, and I've got a whole slew, and I've already repaired a whole slew of other ones. He's got these Okuma cold waters. He uses those.
Okay, some of my
Nick
buddies
Medford, I think he's
about the Okuma cold waters tonight. I think Mosley uses the Okuma cold water. He's like,
you want me to break down? You want me to break it down you want me to break down Okuma for you? I'm almost to the point where I don't even want to work on them anymore, plainly because they are such a pain in the butt to get parts for.
That's what I've
heard. You have to buy. So that's my hang up with them, is just plainly just trying to buy parts and get parts and order. When you order them, you don't know if they got your order. You don't get anything, and so then you feel like an idiot, and you got to call them, and then you're on hold for 45 minutes. They're like, "Yeah, we got it. It's just not processed yet." Well, it takes 4 or 5 days to process it while your customer's chewing your ear off about where their reels are. So, for that reason,
For that reason, I used to do the same thing. It was hard to get parts for certain ones, and you try to get away from those certain ones.
Right. So that's where I'm at. If anybody says, "Hey, I have some of these Okumas," I just say, "No, thanks. I appreciate the business, but I'm not interested." Just because I know that it's gonna because of how they do business, it's gonna drag my name through the mud because of it. I just don't want to have that.
That's it.
It's only as good as the people you surround yourself with. If they can't get me anything, then I'm the one's gonna look like an idiot. So I don't. And I don't like. I'd rather tell somebody, "Hey, I'm 3 weeks out right now, guys," and then in a week and a half or 2 weeks, I call you and say, "Hey, your reels are done." I'd much rather have that than, "Hey, yeah, it shouldn't take me too long," and then 45 days later, I don't even have parts yet. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. So you learn real quick in the business who to look for parts and all this, and what not work on and pass up on. You hate to pass up on anything. But sometimes, like you said, it's better to pass up on it than have your name dragged through the mud.
For me, it's better just to say no than to look bad, And I think realistically, I'm honest. I don't just say no. I don't want your business. This is the reason that I don't want to work on it, and that might change their direction for the next time that it's time to buy fishing reels. They go, "Man, you know what? That guy told me this company's a pain in the butt to deal with." You don't see that because you're not going to deal with them. You're buying them from Tackle Bandit, Bass Pro, wherever you're buying reels from. That's where you're buying it from. You're not having to deal with them, and they're probably buying it from a distributor. But as far as their parts go, you have to go direct. Penn, they have several different outfits you can get parts from. Abu Garcia's got several different outfits you can get parts from. Shimano, that's a little bit different, but not anything like
when I switched to Shimano, or when I became friends with Shawn, and I said, "Hey man, I'm just loving these Shimanos." He's like, "Man, those are awesome reels. Pain in the ass to work on."
and that's they got this freaking pin. They got this pin before you can pull the sleeve off, before you can get the side cover off, and you're in here with like a a freaking paper clip trying to hold this pin in. So you get, yeah, they're a pain in the ass. They're great reel. They're a pain in the ass to work on.
And that's
but
just
I don't,
like
you know.
I said, well, luckily I don't have a bunch of them breaking, so I guess
Yeah, thank God you've had it for 8 years and none of them break. I'm like going, all those reels are about to go down. I
Maybe it's time I sell my whole stock and get a bunch of fresh ones.
Now,
maybe I'm lucky. You know, I've had other guys say, "Oh, I broke one," and you know this and that. But I mean, they've been super durable for me, and I'm hard on crap. I mean.
And Shawn, that's just like
you're hard on stuff.
Not Chris. He ain't hard on them.
You know, I'm hard on stuff.
Yeah, hard on, maybe. Yeah, you know what? One thing I've realized is you take somebody that bank fishes and trumps their stuff in the dirt and the sand, compared to a boat fisherman.
I'm on a boat.
That's a different. You're gonna probably have less problems with level winds and dirt intrusion and things like that than a lot of guys do. That's something that you always got to consider. I've had reels that I've been fishing on now for I'm 7 years into it, you know, and I've had these same reels for that long, and I maintain them. But if they're on the back of the boat, I maintain them even less than I do if I'm on the river bank or. You know, even on the lake bank, you know, I'm different. So that's just how I am. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of problems with those Dakotas, though. They are a built reel. They're built right. Definitely one that I can always recommend. I would recommend anybody to go out and buy one if you have the means to do it. Not everybody has the means to buy 8 of those dang things.
I tell
not
guys,
everybody's got to
buy 1, buy 2. And build up to it. But because over a long period, it will actually save you money. I know it's expensive in the beginning, but over the long haul, my buddies are like, I'm on my 3rd reel. I'm like, well, how much you paid 100 and something for each? I'm on my same reel and hadn't even been in the shop. So I paid, you know, when I can get mine on sale for $189, you're paying 100 for yours. You got 3 of them by the time and
you've gone through 3 of them. I'm already got you beat by $100.
Yeah.
So it's
throughout that 8 years, I got this powerful cranking beast of a reel.
Yeah.
You know,
if you hook into that fish,
37 inches of crank, to me, it's you know, it's a no-brainer. But I mean, I get it. Not everybody thinks the same way. So
no, not everybody thinks the same way, or they got to live and learn. I think I'm sure I think about like both of you guys do. I don't think about that 40-pound fish or that 30-pound fish. I think about that fish of a lifetime. So I'm always gunning for a 100-pound fish, whether I'm on the water that I think has it in there or it doesn't. I'm still fishing for that fish. When that fish comes, I want to make sure I've got the line, I've got the rod, I've got the reel, I've got the hook, I've got the swivel, I've got everything that I have everything ready for when that fish shows up.
You're lucky. That.
Hey, I will say this. You know what? It's not 100 pounds. It's not a freaking 100 pounds.
There's not too many.
Actually, I'm gonna tell you this. You assholes down there have so many 100-pound fish, and it isn't even funny.
That's not true. We get about 100 pounds.
You got bullshit. I tell you what. Go down. I tell you what. I got a challenge for you. Go over to Ray Roberts. You need to catch a 60-pounder. That's going to be the lake record at Ray Roberts.
All right. You know what? If I could pull some pictures up, I'd pull you up one. The first time I fished, I came within 1 pound of that lake record. My buddy said, there ain't no big fish in this lake. I said,
shit, there ain't.
The lake was impounded. It's been 20 years. There's giants in there. I'm going to come to your lake.
There's giants in there.
I went in there.
I've never been to a lake I've never seen more 20 or 30-pound fish in my life than I have there. So if there's that many 20 and 30-pound fish, there's bigger fish. I've caught 40, 20, 30, and 40s out of there.
I told my buddy, if I can bust a 54 on day 1, the first time I ever fished your lake, I bet you I could get a record within a month if I really put my mind
That's why I'm
to
telling
it.
you, go do it, Chris. Go do it. Put your name in that book. Go do it. I tell Daniel the same thing. Why are you out here? Well, my customers want to catch 100-pound fish. I'm like, yeah, they do. I mean, I don't blame them. I do too. I still want to. And just so you guys know, that 90-pounder, when we got it up off the floor, the tail was still on the floor of the boat, and the scale exploded all over the place.
Yeah.
So the last thing we saw was like 89.9 with the tail still on the floor of the boat.
Wow.
So
Not calling
it's a big bastard.
Looks like 100.
Yeah, I can't. It didn't say that. But that was the second scale we broke. We broke 2 scales. I've exploded a couple scales on that boat. So
wow,
that's an awesome fish.
Yeah. That's one thing. I love going down there. I love fishing. I love getting together with Daniel and fishing. That guy is a phenomenal fisherman. He's got amazing waters. He knows what he's doing.
He's been willing
when I show up down there, he likes it because he knows I catch fish. I know what's going on. I know the law of the land. And if it's a tough day, it's not that big a deal. I'm out having fun with my buddy. You know what I mean? It'd be the same thing if we went to Louisville.
Times he's worked harder. He's like, man, I've never felt so much pressure in my life fishing with you. I'm like, he went down he went to Milwaukee to get bait, but the day before, I'm like, damn. He's like, I just wanted to make sure I had some big ass. I'm like, well,
striper, huh?
Your bait is. Let's use that.
Or he had some big ass striped shad. You want to make sure you had some big ass striped shad down there.
Yeah, we had those too, but I'm like, man, I know what works up here. Why are you going down there to get that? Sure. But he had some 18-inch gizzard shad, and then we used stripe was legal up there, so we use that too.
Yeah.
Everything
he's a hell of a fisherman. I'll tell anybody. You know, he's a friend of mine. He's a tournament champion. Yeah, and he's a damn good guy. If anybody on here wants to go down to Texoma and you want to get on some catfish, or you just want to go striper fishing, there's hundreds of striper guides down there. There's a handful of catfish guides. Go down there, Daniel Armstrong or Matthew Mosley. Those are the only 2 guys that I would ever even entertain fishing with down there. They know the lake. They know what they're doing. They know where the fish are at all the time. They're out there every single day. And the biggest thing is they're going to work their butts off for you. You know, no matter what, whether you're a friend fishing with them or you're on a guide trip, they're going to work their butts off.
I fished with the guy that had the world record. He doesn't work a quarter of as hard as Daniel. Daniel worked his ass off to good fish. And it's not, you know, that's one of the largest lakes in the country. He will run all over that thing if he thinks he needs to go
all over that bad boy.
Yeah, he's not worried about running the gas out of his tank like some of these other guides.
Nope.
He will go where he thinks the fish are.
That's built in. We're going. No, but hey, don't forget this December we got a tournament over there.
Daniel Armstrong is Southern Monsters Guide Service. Matt Mosley is Team M&M Fishing Guide Service. Either one of those guys, both awesome dudes. They both catch fish, you know,
for sure,
with the best of them. So give them.
I think Matthew Mosley, he's in the Carolina Lake Weights, is he not?
Yeah,
Matthew Mosley uses Carolina Lake Weights.
Good friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time, just through fishing. You know, before he guided, and then now that he's guiding, we help each other as best we can. He's one of those guys that's very helpful. Daniel's another guy who was just super friendly to me. He was always helpful anytime I needed anything. If he asked me for anything, I'm an open book. So, you know, that seems to be the kind of the general nature of guys. This whole group really.
You know, that's one thing I could say. Yeah. If we could just get Daniel to put some of those Panther rods in his boat, he'd be all right, huh? Big cat panther rods in that boat. They would look pretty good in that boat. That's what I always tell them. But yeah, a bunch of good guys down there. You know what? Every time I've been down there, one thing I've noticed that I haven't noticed anywhere else is a good majority of the guides down there are friends. They're always on the phone with each other. Where you're seeing them, they're doing things like that and helping each other out.
That lake is a different beast, and it helps to have friends. That lake is a different animal. I mean, I call it the beast of the border. It's kicked my ass more than any other lake. It's just so massive. The fish could move so far. It helps to have guys on that lake that are willing to help. That are in your pocket, that willing to help. See, out here, we got a few guides out here on Call Lake where I fish, and man, if you're out there and they're wanting to know where you're at, what you're doing, they're not calling you, they're not messaging you, they're over there just trying to spy on you. They're trying to run by your boat. You know, they're just not a lot of working together. I think if you work together in that situation, man, Lake Texoma is so huge. Every guide on there could be best friends and helping each other, and there'd still be enough fish in that lake to feed everybody that you could ever want to feed. Yeah, that is a massive lake. I was trying to tell the people I was with fishing with Jacob, I was like, man, you take every lake in Arizona and you put them together, this lake is still 30 times bigger than all of them put together that are in Arizona. Like this lake is huge. Like, where we're fishing at is a small little finger of this lake. You don't even understand how big this lake is. Go 35 miles the other way into Oklahoma, and you'll see how big this lake really is. You just keep going and going and going, and it's lake. It is a big lake. So, but hey, they got that tournament coming up. We got this Getting Hooked tournament coming up this December. One of us going to have to get in on that. So either you, me, maybe. If you want to partner,
well,
we can bring.
Here's what I'm wondering.
Man.
I wonder how
we can take the war machine. We'll be.
I was wondering this.
We'll be in the running.
I gotta figure out what the rules are. I was thinking you, me, and Jesse maybe.
Hey,
we'll bring Jesse up there.
Let's do it.
That would be the fun one. You, me, and Jesse get up there. I gotta find out if we get. I think if we got. If we got three anglers, we can have 3 fish over 30. So.
Yeah.
I just got to figure. He hasn't figured out, and he probably won't for a while. Where what boat ramp we're going to be doing this at? It might be on the Oklahoma side. So, yeah, it's December. Yeah. Okay. So, I know where. Yeah, you remember where the fish were this December?
I know
where you fish at.
They go in December.
We know where to fish at.
I know where to fish
because Is Daniel Armstrong still in this, or is he gone?
I don't know.
Because I know he's. But yeah. No, is he still on this watching the live, or is he off? Do you know?
No, he's off.
He's probably he's off, huh? I would say he's probably gonna try to team up with his dad. So, we'll go out there.
That would be one hell of a team with all 3 of y'all teamed up.
It would be a good time. I can tell you this. It would be a good time.
If we got my boy on the boat, we got the good luck charm. So,
yeah, you know what? That's it right there. We gotta have him. I got to figure out what the rules going to be for this tournament. It's probably, I'm going to guesstimate it should be about, if we get some Texas guys in on this, probably about a $5,000 payout for that little tournament. So, nice. last one, I think we had
anyone to win it.
Yeah. I mean, you think about the guys that are down there that know what's going on, but that's all right. They're not us. So we'll definitely get down there. Maybe we'll get together in November. We'll pre-fish that sucker in that 70 foot of water we like to find. All right, brother. Hey, it's been real. I got to get up at 2:30 in the morning. So I appreciate you having me on here. I don't know what the heck the deal was earlier.
Had a great time. Yeah, I know the guys loved it. It was a great show. Appreciate you, buddy.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me, brother. What's that?
Appreciate everybody stopping in, spending some time with us. Jamie Dunn.
Chris,
appreciate you.
Thanks, guys, for stopping in. I appreciate you guys all coming and seeing me.
I want to let everybody know we will be in Alabama next weekend. So stop by. It's a 3-day show. We will be in Alabama. Come by and see us at the Alabama Fishing Expo. So CLW will be in Alabama. So check us out, guys.
Perfect.
All right,
I'm gonna
buddy.
get some lake weights headed my way too. I need some 2-ounce lake weights, so I'm gonna get some headed my way, brother.
We got.
I appreciate it.
I'll send you some, buddy. I'll get you some.
I appreciate you guys.
You like the 2-ounce, I'll get you taken care of. All right,
Thanks,
guys.
brother. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys
Catch you
stopping
later.
in, spending some time with us. As always, tight lines. God bless. Azul out.
See y'all guys soon.
Azul out. See ya.
Jamie Dunn, you there?